Good day, it's March the 23rd, 2020. And before we jump into the episode today, I'd like to invite you to come over and join us on Discord. You will get free alerts on the relative strength index crossing high levels. You'll get free alerts on the exponential moving average crosses over, our Ichimoku cloud, relative strength index, MACD indicator, all of these free alerts over on our Discord chat. We'll take a look at Bitcoin prices and go through all of our indicators to see what they're telling us about the short-term prices. But to begin with, I want to take a look at silver prices, silver versus Bitcoin in the background. And particularly, I want to look at the on-balance volume here in August of 2018, a lot of selling. Here in May of 2019, not as much selling. Now, March of 2020, though prices have dipped back deeply, we didn't have as strong of selling going on with that in silver. Gold prices came up with strong buying volume, and in the weekly on-balance volume, we still haven't cracked to negative. Another big indicator for the world's economy is platinum prices. Here, July of 2018, a lot of selling. Here again, in December of 2018, a lot of selling. But in March of 2020, the selling just wasn't as powerful. I do believe this will recover from where it is. Though the world's economy is a mess, I think these will bounce and we'll see some more wreckage coming up after this. So if the world's economy is going to bounce, then it may be that Bitcoin is hitting a bottom with these big reversal wicks on the weekly. Let's zoom in on the relative strength index and see what it can tell us. Daily, we can see this still trend line, just like last video. 12 hours, pretty much like last video, except that we did get that break right off of that top formation we were observing at the time. When we move into the 4-hour time frame, this again gave us the break of that price level just as we came off of this mean reversion we'll see later. And now we're bouncing on top of the 1, 2, 3 formation. We've got the number 1 point here, the number 2 point here, the number 3 point here. We've broken up above it. Normally a good place to try purchasing with risk control rules. And then the second place to purchase is on strength after coming back to retest this number 2 spot. We'll see how this plays out. And if it does, this RSI will move up. If we're cracking lower, this RSI will be moving down, and we'll see clear indications of that. Let's go into a little closer time frame, because what I'm wanting to see now is, do we have a divergence off of these bottoms with RSI giving us some strength? So far, not so much. A little bit on the 15-minute time frame, but I don't put a lot of weight onto that. Let's go and see what our other indicators are telling us. As we go into the weekly on-balance volume for Bitcoin, we can see that there was a good bit of selling here. Let's zoom in and see what this might tell us. We certainly got a big reversal here. And when I go back to the last couple dumps, especially when we're looking at this moment compared to this moment, we really got a reversal of the volume much faster here. On the 12-hour time frame, we can see the dumping was less, and then we had quite a bit of buying come back. It hasn't turned around to dumping on the 12-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame has eased a little bit more negative. And as we zoom into the 1-hour time frame, we can see this is pretty steady selling all the way along here. More strength in the selling, and a break below these levels is certainly bearish, and we should see the RSI confirming with that. We see deep, deeper, less deep. Let's watch how this plays out for the day, because as this gives us any direction, deeper or less deep, we're going to see confirmation of our movement, and nothing's good until we get some confirmation above some structure here. Let's go into the next indicator. The weekly MACD indicator is still stronger histograms down. Let's go see what the daily is doing. On the daily, we've crossed positive, and we have a couple histograms getting stronger, which is good. On the 12-hour time frame, we've done the cross and we're pulling back. The 4-hour, we've crossed negative, and we'll watch this because this is normal to oscillate on a trend, but should it continue down further as we're breaking, that confirms negative. Hourly time frame is negative and still going negative. If it expands wider as we're coming down, this is a bearish signal, especially if this is going flaring wider and the histogram is growing over the next few hours. Now the Ichimoku cloud weekly is bearish. On the daily time frame, we are still bearish, hasn't turned around. On the 12-hour time frame, we do have a cross of the blue over red. That is the first of the bullish turnaround signals that we could get. As we go into the 4-hour time frame, that blue line crossing below the red line is a bearish first indicator. So should we continue down through this cloud, that is really bearish. Let's go into the 1 hour time frame. We are bearish below the cloud, yet the blue line is starting to pull back towards the reds. Nothing to do but watch and see what it does from here. In the weekly view of the Bollinger Bands, you can see I have 3 pillars marked on the chart. Each of those are a mean reversion on the weekly time frame, and there are only 3 of them in the history of Bitcoin. The first one here back in 2015, and then we went sideways for a long time before we went up. Here's another pillar where we went outside the 3rd standard deviation on the weekly time frame for Bollinger Bands. We went sideways for a long time before we went up. Here's the 3rd one. I expect we're going to go sideways a long time before we go up from here. So let's zoom in and see the anatomy of this pillar moment here as this mean reversion unfolds. We go into the 12-hour time frame. We still see this mean reversion is still sitting here. On the 4-hour time frame, that's the 4 time frames that we see this mean reversion sitting here. Now we have a 1, 2, 3 formation that we're sitting up above, and prices have just come back and completed another potential mean reversion right there out of the 4-hour time frame. Not as strong as going outside the 3rd standard deviation, but still reversing from between the 2nd and 3rd is a potential for a mean reversion and going higher here. Should that occur, we should see it happen in this 1, 2, 3 formation, and prices must get up above these levels before we can call that a confirmed mean reversion on the 4-hour time frame. So until then, we're still watching for this trend to continue down or to bounce up above these levels. And let's end the video with a quick look at the Bitcoin dominance. We can see Bitcoin dominance is in a massive triangle formation right now. We are at important support and resistance levels from the past. While dominance has risen as Bitcoin prices have dropped, which means that altcoin prices have suffered, it's important to pay attention that we saw this very same thing happen in the past. As Bitcoin dropped, dominance rose for a short time. We came up and tested support and resistance from the past, and even though this looks like dominance went pretty much sideways throughout this period of time when Bitcoin went sideways, we had a very good run of many alts in this time. On average, they played out this way, but when we open up the data and we look inside, we can see that there was a lot more going on. And it's important to know how Bitcoin dominance plays out compared to all of the altcoins, because not all of the altcoins are the same. We can see in this project here how we take Bitcoin dominance and we split apart the data so that we can see what each individual coin is doing, including all of their entries and their exit places. This is a phenomenal spreadsheet that covers everything in Binance, but it's still a lot of work to trade this way because you've got to manually jump in and out of these trades as you're going along, and there are hundreds of markets. Now we've automated this entire process so that when the next altcoin bull run takes off, everything on Binance will be automated so that our entire portfolio will expand and contract as the markets move past the exponential moving average crossovers, and we will get out of those trades on the 4-hour EMA and on the 12-hour EMAs. So our entire trading system now is automated, and you can learn more about that with a link in the description down below. And finally, to close, I'd like to invite you to come and join us on our Discord chat where we have free alerts to go along with all of the Bitcoin indicators that we are following here on this stream. And all of these indicators provided over on our Discord chat in the free alerts section. Thanks again for joining me today. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and if you haven't already, come and join us over on our Discord chat where you can get continuing conversation about prices as they move above these levels. As they're building structure, we'll be commenting in our Discord chat. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next episode.